In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky. Yeah. Fun times.
Sean Diddy Combs is back in the spotlight, but this time, it's not for his music, business ventures, or legendary parties. Instead, the courtroom drama surrounding him has taken a dramatic twist. Diddy's powerhouse legal team is going all out, challenging the evidence in a bold move that could turn the entire case on its head. Could this latest strategy be the key to clearing his name? The stakes couldn't be higher as his defense zeroes in on what they're calling a major procedural mistake by law enforcement. If proven, it could not only change the outcome of this case, but also set a precedent that rocks the justice system to its core. Let's dive into the details of how Diddy's high-profile attorneys are flipping the script, leaving everyone questioning whether justice or influence will ultimately prevail.
Exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
For months, Sean Diddy Combs has been caught in the eye of a media storm, facing accusations that threaten to dismantle his empire and potentially land him behind bars for decades. The charges are as serious as they come, painting a picture of a man who allegedly manipulated, coerced, and orchestrated events that left devastation in their wake. His arrest in September sent shockwaves around the world. But as investigators delved deeper, the revelations grew even darker. From claims of secretive gatherings to allegations of witness tampering, the case has been nothing short of explosive. Now, with prosecutors pushing hard to keep him in custody, Diddy's defense team has unveiled a strategy that could change everything. At the center of this latest legal battle lies a stack of handwritten notes seized during a raid of his jail cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. Prosecutors are calling these notes a smoking gun, alleging they expose Diddy's attempts to influence witnesses and dig up dirt on his accusers from behind bars. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic didn't hold back, telling the court that the notes included plans to bribe witnesses and instructions for family members to gather incriminating information on his alleged victims. To the prosecution, these aren't just scribbles on paper, they're damning evidence of obstruction, enough to justify keeping Diddy behind bars until his trial begins.
Imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's a for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
But Diddy's legal team isn't backing down. Led by Mark Agnifilo, renowned attorney with a track record of handling high-profile cases, the defense is firing back hard. Their argument? The seizure of these notes was not only a blatant violation of Diddy's constitutional rights, but also a breach of attorney-client privilege. Agnifilo contends that the notes were part of privileged communications between Diddy and his legal team, containing defense strategies and private discussions that should have been untouchable by investigators. During a heated court hearing, Agnifilo passionately argued, no multi-agency law enforcement initiative justifies rifling through Mr. Combs' personal, handwritten notes of conversations with his lawyers. The prosecutor's arguments to the contrary lack all credibility. The defense's stance has added another layer of intensity to this already high-stakes legal drama, raising questions about how far law enforcement can go in their pursuit of evidence, and whether this alleged overreach could ultimately work in Diddy's favor.
Courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government's saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
And it's not just legal posturing. The defense is building its case on constitutional grounds. They argue that the raid violated Diddy's Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights, claiming the search was unlawful and that the seized material should never have been shared with the prosecution. The defense's central claim? That the notes were taken during what they call an institutional failure, a pretextual sweep masquerading as a routine search for contraband. Agnifilo has even demanded surveillance footage of the raid, hinting at a targeted operation aimed specifically at Diddy rather than a standard security measure. If proven, this could bolster their case that the search was a deliberate overreach, further complicating an already controversial prosecution.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as
jail?
Like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so.
The defense's strategy is crystal clear. Undermine the prosecution by portraying the seizure of the notes as a reckless and unlawful overreach. If they succeed, it could deliver a major blow to the case against Diddy. If the court rules that the notes were improperly obtained, prosecutors may be forced to exclude them as evidence. This would significantly weaken their claims of obstruction and witness tampering, removing a critical pillar of their argument. For Diddy, this could pave the way to securing bail, or even the dismissal of some charges altogether. The stakes couldn't be higher, as both sides prepare for what could be a pivotal showdown in court.
This privilege, of course, they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't
The prosecution isn't backing down, firmly asserting that the search was conducted lawfully and that the notes are legitimate evidence. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic argued that the notes were discovered during a planned sweep by the Bureau of Prisons, aimed at addressing contraband and unauthorized substances within the facility. Slavic was quick to distance herself and her team from any allegations of misconduct, emphasizing that no member of the prosecution was involved in or aware of the search beforehand. She also dismissed the defense's claims of attorney-client privilege, stating that the notes included to-do lists and other non-legal writings. A witness being paid off and digging up dirt on two different victims is not privileged, Slavic told the court, doubling down on the argument that the notes expose a deliberate attempt by Diddy to obstruct justice.
First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. Okay. First, of course, he could face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
The case has now taken another dramatic turn, with U.S. District Judge Arun Subramanian adopting a cautious stance on the controversial notes. While he has ordered prosecutors to delete all copies of the documents for the time being, he's also decided to keep the originals under court seal until the issue of privilege is resolved. This decision places the notes in a sort of legal limbo, leaving both sides scrambling to solidify their arguments. For the defense, it's a small but crucial victory, buying them time to argue that the notes should never have been seized in the first place. For the prosecution, however, it's a temporary setback that could have lasting consequences if the court ultimately rules against them. The fight over the notes is just the latest twist in a case filled with intrigue. Earlier this month, prosecutors accused Diddy of using his time behind bars to orchestrate a public relations campaign aimed at influencing potential jurors. According to court filings, Diddy allegedly instructed his children to post a social media video wishing him a happy birthday, a move prosecutors called a calculated attempt to sway public opinion. Additionally, they claim Diddy made numerous phone calls to potential witnesses using other inmates' phone accounts to avoid detection. Combined with the controversial notes, these allegations paint a picture of someone determined to tilt the scales of justice by any means necessary.
Hey, what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently, what happened is commonplace.
Despite the barrage of damning allegations, Diddy's defense team has been relentless in shifting the spotlight onto what they argue are significant flaws in the prosecution's case. Mark Agnifilo has repeatedly accused the government of overreach and misconduct, framing the case as a violation of his client's fundamental rights. Now, with the judge scrutinizing the legality of the cell raid, the defense is seizing the moment. Their strategy is clear: pivot the narrative away from Diddy's alleged actions and focus on the government's handling of the investigation. If they succeed, it could not only undermine the prosecution's case, but also raise broader questions about the lengths authorities are willing to go in pursuit of justice.
It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's like, it's the extortion business.
Well, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA?
It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that could pay off if the defense successfully convinces the court that the prosecution's case rests on shaky ground. The controversy over the seized notes has already ignited a broader debate about the limits of law enforcement and the rights afforded to defendants, particularly those with the resources to mount a formidable defense. Critics of the prosecution argue that the raid on Diddy's cell raises serious ethical concerns about the targeting of high-profile defendants, suggesting it may reflect overreach rather than justice. On the other hand, supporters contend that such measures are necessary to ensure accountability and prevent attempts to obstruct the judicial process. As the legal battle intensifies, the case has come to embody not just the fate of one individual, but a larger clash over power, privilege, and the integrity of the justice system.
On both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that are involved in this.
This is it,
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be terrifying.
As the courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear. Both sides are in it to win, and neither is backing down. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. His reputation, fortune, and freedom are all on the line. He's spared no expense in assembling a legal dream team to defend him. For the prosecution, this case is a chance to hold a powerful figure accountable for what they claim has been years of unchecked wrongdoing. It's a high-stakes battle between two formidable forces, with the outcome poised to shape not only Diddy's future, but also the broader conversation on justice and accountability, especially in cases involving the rich and famous.
Maybe, everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people are saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they were like, it wasn't about Diddy. It was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
The tension in the courtroom is palpable, with every argument, objection, and ruling carrying the weight of a trial that has captivated the public's attention. While the legal sparring over the notes may seem like a procedural sideshow, it could prove to be a pivotal turning point in a case that has already defied expectations at every turn. As the judge prepares to rule on the issue of privilege, all eyes are on Diddy and his defense team, waiting to see if their latest gambit will be enough to tip the scales in their favor. Yet, even as the legal drama unfolds, the shadow of the allegations against him looms large. The questions surrounding Diddy's conduct and the stories of those who have come forward to accuse him remain at the heart of this saga, setting the stage for a trial that promises to be unlike any other.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors, yeah. I don't know that there's any proof of anything other than that.
The story of Sean Diddy Combs takes a darker turn as the layers of what prosecutors are calling one of the most disturbing cases to hit the entertainment industry in years are peeled back. While Diddy's legal team remains focused on fighting over notes and procedural violations, the spotlight is starting to shift toward the core of the allegations against him, and the image being painted is anything but glamorous. For decades, Diddy was seen as the king of parties, the man who could turn any event into the most exclusive, talked about gathering in Hollywood. But now, those same high-profile events are under intense scrutiny as prosecutors and accusers claim they were the backdrop for a disturbing pattern of behavior that went far beyond mere indulgence. What was once whispered about in industry circles is now being dragged into the public eye, and the details are nothing short of shocking.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there,
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
Let's begin with the so-called break-offs, the name given to the private, late-night gatherings that reportedly followed Diddy's A-list parties. These events were legendary, cloaked in secrecy, and attended by some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lopez, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z have all been photographed at Diddy's parties over the years. But according to court documents and witness statements, the real action didn't begin until the red carpet rolled up and the cameras were gone. Sources describe these after-hours gatherings as a completely different kind of party, one where the rules didn't just bend, they vanished altogether. Attendees were allegedly handpicked by Diddy himself, and the guest list was so exclusive that even some of the most famous faces in the world were left in the dark about what really went on behind closed doors.
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
What makes these allegations even more disturbing is the meticulous planning behind these events. Prosecutors claim that Diddy didn't simply throw parties. He orchestrated them like elaborate productions, complete with assistants, security teams, and detailed instructions to ensure everything went exactly as he envisioned. Witnesses have described hotel suites stocked with everything from high-end decor to supplies that leave little to the imagination. While some guests may have attended just for the music and atmosphere, others allege they were pressured or manipulated into participating in activities they never agreed to. These accusations have ignited outrage, particularly given the power dynamics at play. When someone as influential as Diddy invites you to a party, saying no isn't always as simple as it sounds.
If he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
One of the most chilling aspects of this case is the sheer number of people who have come forward, each with their own harrowing stories about what transpired at these gatherings. Attorney Tony Busby, representing over 120 individuals, has been vocal about the scope of the allegations. He has even sent out demand letters to celebrities who attended these events, warning them that their silence could make them complicit. According to Busby, if you were there and saw what was happening and didn't speak up, you're just as responsible as those who orchestrated it. His words have sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with many celebrities now scrambling to distance themselves from Diddy and his infamous parties.
Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw her go upstairs and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are like,
and pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
Girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
While some remain silent, others have begun to share their experiences, some in support of the accusers and others to defend themselves. Ashton Kutcher, for example, has admitted to attending Diddy's parties in the past, but insists that he never witnessed anything inappropriate. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said in an interview, adding, "I'm actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man, that was some weird memory lane stuff." Similarly, Ice Cube made it clear during a recent concert that he had never attended one of Diddy's after-hours gatherings, saying, "You ain't got to worry about us on those tapes." Meanwhile, others like 50 Cent have openly criticized Diddy's behavior. The rapper stated, "I've been very vocal about not going to those kinds of parties. It's just an uncomfortable energy."
Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
To corrupting somebody or to...
What happens? Like what happens?
However, not everyone in Hollywood is rushing to clear their names. Some have chosen to remain tight-lipped, which has only fueled speculation about who knew what and when. Then there are those who have come forward with stories that seem to confirm the worst of the allegations. One particularly damning account comes from a woman named Tenna Wallace, who claims she was flown to one of Diddy's events by a Saudi businessman. According to Wallace, the party was unlike anything she had ever seen, with attendees engaging in activities she found deeply unsettling. Her most shocking claim was that she saw individuals who appeared to be far too young to be there, surrounded by adults in a setting she described as anything but appropriate. Wallace's testimony has been denied by Diddy's legal team, who have questioned her credibility and dismissed her claims as baseless. The allegations against Diddy have also brought renewed attention to other lawsuits and accusations that have surfaced over the years. One of the most notable cases involves Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, who filed a civil suit against Diddy last year. In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges she endured years of emotional and physical abuse during her relationship with the music mogul. While Diddy initially denied the claims, a video later surfaced that appeared to show him physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage, which quickly went viral, has been described as a turning point in the case, giving other accusers the courage to come forward with their own stories.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Among the new accusers is Talia Graves, who claims that she was restrained and assaulted by Diddy in the early 2000s. Graves alleges that Diddy recorded the encounter without her consent and later showed the footage to others, a claim that his legal team has yet to address publicly. These allegations, combined with mounting evidence from other accusers, have painted a picture of someone who allegedly used his wealth and influence to control and exploit those around him. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges, the sheer volume of accusations has made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain his innocence in the court of public opinion.
Oh, man, I just had like a 3.5-hour cry.
What makes this case even more complex is the role that other celebrities may have played, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Photos and videos have surfaced showing Diddy alongside some of the biggest names in Hollywood, from Usher to Kim Kardashian to Paris Hilton. While it's unclear how many of these individuals were aware of the allegations or involved in the events described, their association with Diddy has raised questions about the culture of silence that often surrounds powerful figures in the entertainment industry. As attorney Tony Busby put it, this isn't just about one man. This is about a system that allowed this kind of behavior to continue for years without anyone stepping in to stop it. The broader implications of this case are hard to ignore. For many, it's a dark reminder of the power imbalances that exist in industries like music and film, where success often depends on who you know and what you're willing to tolerate. It's also a wake-up call for those who have turned a blind eye to the darker side of celebrity culture, choosing to focus on the glitz and glamour rather than the people who may have been harmed along the way. For Diddy, it's a moment of reckoning that could change not only his life, but also the lives of those who have been affected by his alleged actions.
Going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate, and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to, he won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway house.
As the trial approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to discredit the allegations and find weaknesses in the prosecution's case, while accusers and their attorneys are determined to see justice served. The world will be watching as this case unfolds, not just to see whether Diddy is found guilty or innocent, but to understand what it says about accountability, privilege, and the pursuit of justice in a world where fame and fortune often seem to outweigh the truth.
Shine's the one who pulled that gun out. Shine's the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back.
And yet, even as the courtroom battle intensifies, the question remains, can Diddy truly escape the shadow of these allegations? For all his wealth and influence, the tide of public opinion appears to be turning against him, with many once loyal fans now questioning the man behind the brand. Whether or not he is found guilty, the damage to his reputation may already be done, leaving behind a legacy far more complicated than the one he spent decades building. As the spotlight continues to shine on Diddy, one thing is clear. This is a story that goes far beyond one man. It's a story about power, accountability, and the people who are finally finding the courage to speak out. And while the outcome of the trial remains uncertain, the impact of these revelations is likely to be felt for years to come. So, what do you think? Is Diddy's latest legal maneuver a genius move or a desperate ploy? How much do you believe the allegations will impact his legacy in the music industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. Until next time.